Today we're not coming to you from our studios, but we are going to be in conversation with a gaming unicorn, Games24x7, and the co-founder Bhavin, who is today not in Boston, but in New Delhi, so we could do this interview in person. And I've convinced Bhavin that, you know, since he's into gaming, we should at least play some games during an interview. No arcade games, shatranj, chess. Are you good at it?
We'll find out.
So I'll do the first move, since I'm also bad. There you go. Obviously, it has to be commons. But now tell me, Bhavin, have you ever been checkmated in business?
Oh, good one. Not yet. Not yet. It's been a fun many years and not been checkmated yet.
No?
So, no.
Okay. Do you think the GST, the 28%, that has all of you so worried, saying business models are going to be wiped out if it's at 28%, if it's also going to say that it's 28% A when the user signs up, plus the pot, will wipe you all out. Is that a checkmate?
So, maybe I can take a minute to talk about what the real issue is here. The 28% in and of itself is not a problem. In fact, the industry will gladly accept a 28% on its revenue, right? The problem is 28% on entry fees, on contest entry amounts as they call them, right? Because that means that every time a player comes to play, 28% has to be deducted. The big issue here is, like you rightly mentioned, that it is not viable to do that because the same 100 rupees that a player plays for, he plays for multiple times. And so every time you're taxing that money, which means you're taxing it more than once. And that's where, if they do that, then yes, the business will no longer be viable. It'll be very difficult to then operate the business because the tax then goes to over 1100%.
Okay.
So that's probably going to be.
How do you arrive at this 1100%?
Just by looking at 1100% of our revenue. So we know what revenue we're generating. We know how much entry fees people play for. We know what 28% of that is. And whatever that number is so much more than our revenue that we will not be able to pay it at all.
So I'm good at chess. I'm not very good at mental math. What are your revenues?
So a lot of the information is in the public domain as we file, but we've been doing fairly well over the last many years because Nayantara always believed.
Boss, what is well? You've given me what the rate will be, how much tax will go up by. What is well? I really do mean that. And are you profitable?
So yes, overall we've been profitable for a long time, primarily because we've believed that that's the only way to operate a business, right? That we pay a lot of attention in how we acquire our players, right? How much money we're spending on acquiring them. And how long is it going? That has, we've always operated very responsibly in that sense, and therefore made sure that we've done well in terms of our financials. So we have been profitable now.
That's after having heavy-duty cricketers also as brand ambassadors?
Yes. So on that, on My 11 Circle, we're definitely investing very actively, right? And so that investment obviously is from all the monies that we've earned over the last many years and from the funds that we've raised. But overall, as a business, we're financially very healthy, and we've been profitable for a very long time.
Okay. What I also want to get a sense from you is, do you think, as one of the founders of a gaming unicorn in the country, is the government anti-gaming?
Oh, not at all. The government is very pro-gaming. In fact, putting today's news aside, where they're also trying to differentiate between games of skill and games of chance, the government is playing a very active role in really trying to figure out who is the right ministry for us, where we can actually take our concerns.
Isn't it the Ministry of IT and Electronics? Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar is the one who's spearheading all of this.
He is spearheading it, yes. We have met him a couple of times where he has expressed interest in wanting to do this, wanting to really regulate this space. But we don't know which that ministry eventually will be. We don't have that information yet. But yes, MeitY has been playing an active role here.
Bhavin, now tell me a little bit of at Games24x7. What's the #1 game? How much time are your users in India spending per game as well? Because, you know, I still remember before the pandemic, Mukesh Ambani and Satya Nadella, the global chief of Microsoft, having this conversation of how gaming is going to be bigger than shopping, is going to be bigger than music, is going to be bigger than television in the country.
Yes. So for us, we have, right now we're offering a few games, but the biggest one is Rummy Circle, followed by My 11 Circle, which in a very short span of time has made great strides. On any game that we offer, on average, a player is playing for between 30 to 60 minutes. So it's not like they're
30 to 60 minutes in one go?
No, in a day.
In a day?
In a day.
Okay,
in a day. Yeah. No. I wish, yeah. No, in a day.
Oh, you wish.
Day.
I'm sure you wish.
Exactly. There are 15 to 20 minute game sessions. So that's what people, they come, they play a little bit, and they do other things, right? Rummy, they'll play a couple of games, do some other things. In fantasy sports, they'll come maybe 20 minutes after the toss, but before the game starts, make their team, and then do other things. So.
I thought fantasy, they really had to study and research and figure out permutation, combination, pitch conditions, weather conditions.
But that's the good part, right? That and a cricket aficionado is doing anyway. Now today, right now, the match between England and New Zealand is going on, right? The players who follow cricket are following the game. Who's batting well against which bowler? Who's going to hit how many sixes? What kind of a pitch is it? Is it a pitch that is amenable to a batsman or more friendly to a bowler, right? So those people are doing anyway. Now they're using all of this information to go and build their team. It is not like they're spending a ton of time studying this first for the sake of playing. It's because they're already so interested in cricket that they believe that they can build the right kind of team.
You know, we didn't have a clock, but you missed a turn.
Oh, sorry. You played, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm joking.
I'm so sorry. All right, let's do this.
No, this can come here. It can't come here.
That can go there, yeah.
No, 1, 2.5.
No, but that, I don't have, that's not the horse. That's
oh,
the
sorry. Okay,
yeah, it's not the knight, yeah.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to ask you was 30 to 60 minutes average between Rummy and fantasy games is what you're saying. We are also always told that Indian consumer is very price conscious. Indian consumer doesn't want to pay for anything.
Yes.
I'm sure that's a consumer behavior around the world. Which consumer will want to pay for things when they don't want to, or overpay for it when not required?
Yes.
But coming to the Indian market, is that true? Like, is it only the free games that are doing well?
So there are two sides to a coin here, right? There are two different business models. So there is casual games, which are the free games that you're talking about, right?
Which are like what the Ludos and the Candy Crushes.
Candy Crushes and yes, the games of that type, right? They're doing well. Now, what does well mean, right? Let me try and answer that question. From my standpoint, well means when it's monetizing. If it's monetizing, it's doing well. Yes, it's important that many players play that game, but if they're playing it for free, then the company is not earning any revenue, and therefore the game is really not doing well from a financial or business perspective, right? And that's where the price conscious point that you made comes up, right? Which is that while the Indian consumer is price conscious, or any consumer is price conscious, right now the market for playing casual games for money is very nascent in India, right? It's established, it's developed in the West, where casual games like the Candy Crushes are generating a ton of revenue. But in India, I think it's on the anvil. It will happen, but it hasn't happened yet, right? So even when in our other games like Rummy and Fantasy, where players do play for money, right? The amount that they wager is 1, 2, 5, 10 rupees. It's not that they're wagering that much money to play these games. It's just that a lot of players are playing them. That's where we're able to generate revenue from them.
Can you tell me how much you would have made from Rummy last year? Don't give me profits and all that, just to get an idea of what's at stake from just one gaming platform.
So it's, look, when I can talk about the number of players, right?
Okay.
So we have about, between 4 and 500,000 players who play on a monthly basis.
4 to 5 lakh people on a monthly basis are playing Rummy or are coming to the platform?
Are coming to the platform and playing various games that they have.
Games.
Now, there are obviously players who will come and play for free, and that number is much larger. But
how much large? Like, what would, out of 4 to 5 lakhs, how many are playing for free?
No, so the 4 to 5 lakhs that I'm talking about are playing for money.
Okay.
Yeah. So the free is over and above that.
Free is over and above.
Yeah, and there are a lot more players. They'll be in the tune of, 15, 20 lakh players.
15, 20 lakh players
they play-
every month are coming, and these are unique from the guys who are paying.
No, including them.
Okay.
Including them. Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll have about 15 lakh players come, 5 lakh out of them will play for money.
Okay. So how are you going to grow that?
Grow which one?
The
15
people who are willing to pay, because that's where you will make money, right?
Yes.
And that's how the ecosystem will make money, and
That's
that's how
right.
the ecosystem will grow.
That's right. So I think a lot of that will happen from just awareness, right? As more people start finding this a genuine form of entertainment, more people will start coming on the platform and using it, right? And I think that's again where the government will really help. As the space gets regulated, everyone will know that yes, this is a legitimate form of entertainment. A lot more people will try out these games. A lot more people will come and play for money. So that's really, I think, the goal. And the goal always has been that it has to be entertainment only, right? Just like you go watch a movie, right? You'll spend a few rupees to go watch a movie, right? The same thing here. You don't have to go anywhere. You want to play a game for
It's not spiritual opium, the way
What?
China said.
No.
It's not spiritual opium.
Not at all. Again, it depends on how the industry is going to control itself, right? How the industry is going to regulate itself. Now, right now, even without the government intervening yet, the industry has done a fair bit to regulate itself. Obviously, we believe that the best thing forward is for the government to regulate us. But even while that is happening, the industry has
How are you
done a lot of things.
self-regulating? You must be getting lots of angry calls, emails, messages, WhatsApps, whatever it is. Children are addicted, children are not doing homework, instead they're spending all their time playing video games.
No, those we are not getting, because on our platform you have to be over 18 and in a lot of cases over 21 to be able to play, and we get all those documents from you before we let you play. Right, so
Fake ID तो सुना ही नहीं है कभी.
No, but again we are integrated with the bodies that can actually validate all this information before you let you play. So people have to give their Aadhaar cards, their PAN cards, that get validated in the
So
back
from
end.
what age can somebody be on the platform?
It
depends on the game.
It depends on the game, but in our case, if you want to play, 18 plus. But in a lot of cases, people under 21 we don't even advertise to.
Okay.
So for us, it's mostly 21 and above.
Speaking of advertising, in recent times, there's been said you cannot have betting sites during matches. AXI has come out with certain guidelines.
Yeah.
Every day you also do hear that why is it that during this match, I
just
think,
saw that.
the India-South Africa match, why were those advertisements there?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay, so I'm sure you're aware of the distinction between games of skill and games of chance, right? So games of skill are a legitimate business activity protected under our constitution and so on and so forth. Games of chance are not allowed, right? You cannot legally offer a game of chance in India for money, right? Because that's gambling, and gambling is not allowed in our country, right? A lot of foreign operators, right, are coming into India and offering these games that should not be allowed, right? They are advertising surrogately on TV to say that these are news websites or these are websites for something else, right? And that's what we as an industry have brought to the attention of ASCII and the government to say that this should not be allowed at all. They cannot even advertise surrogately because everyone knows what they're really doing. And so ASCII obviously understands everything, right? They've been around for a while. And so they have given this mandate to say that these things need to stop. However, it's not just pushing a switch to switch it on or off. It'll take some time, right? And so I think right now what's happening is that we're going through we're in that transition phase where gradually, we're very confident that all of those things will stop. We have no doubt in our minds that it will stop, right? But I think it'll have some lag time. And so that's why you're seeing those one-off ads. But for the most part, it has stopped. And this is kudos to the government, to ASCII for making it happen.
Bhavin, you guys have also decided that you want to bolster the ecosystem from your balance sheet, making a fund to invest in early-stage startups, gaming startups, be the info edge of the gaming world. We're seeing Nazara also trying to do that. What's going on? What's the game plan?
Absolutely. So what is... I'll go back to my, a lot of decisions that you make, you learn from your experiences before you make those decisions, right? So when we were growing up, and when I say growing up, when we'd started Games 24/7 back in 2006-7, right? we'd go out there and try and talk to people about what we want to do, what online gaming is all about, what online skill games are all about, right? But it was a very nascent industry. Not many people understood it very, very well, right? And so we had a very tough time raising funds to continue operating. We've really learned everything through first principles, the hard way, toiling away at making things happen, that we thought that, look, this is our way, that we've obviously done what we have, but we've also been fortunate to have met the right people, gotten the right breaks at the right time to be where we are. It is our time now to give back to the ecosystem. It is our time now to give back to the industry. And for us, therefore, we believe that we are fairly well placed, having gone through the gaming journey ourselves, to really recognize and identify good talent, good potential, good budding entrepreneurs, right, who we may have synergies with, and try and see if we can help them grow. Capital is just one part of it, but the bigger part here is the kind of expertise and the knowledge that we have built over time. Can we share that with them, and can that help them grow? And so that was really the intention of the fund, Games24x7 Ventures that we're calling it, is to say that, look, we want to find synergies and we want to give back to society, we want to give back to the gaming ecosystem that has helped us in so many ways over the last few years.
And make money.
Well, the objective is important, and the objective for us is to really help. And in the process, yes, we want to help them grow, and if everyone grows together, the industry grows. Right? Making money in my mind is just a euphemism for growing the entire industry, and I think the entire industry will grow through such initiatives that we are taking, and other companies that you mentioned are also taking.
Are there so many gaming startups? You folks want to do it, 400 crores. Nazara's already doing it. Is the ecosystem that large? What
Absolutely.
will be the average size of a check?
Absolutely. So yeah, so I'll answer the first question first, which is that, is the ecosystem large? It is, right? A lot of focus, however, right now is on building the right digital content. Because when you build the right digital content, then you can find ways of engaging people through it, right? And so what's happening right now is that the people who are the entrepreneurs who are trying to build games are trying to build a lot of casual games and find ways to sort of see how they can make that engaging. That's where, starting tomorrow, the IDGC is kicking off, which is the Game Development Conference here in India, and we're going to be there, where we are talking to a lot of these entrepreneurs. So the ecosystem is large. A lot of people are trying to build different games through their experiences, through what they think can be engaging. And so that's one part of the question, that yes, the market is large. To the second part, what is going to be the average check size? The way we are thinking about it right now is that every business or every opportunity is different. Every entrepreneur is different. Growth to an entrepreneur may mean different things from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, right? So let's not box ourselves to see that we will invest this much. What we want to do is do a combination of things, right? We want to invest money, but we also want to provide our expertise to see if they can grow. A good case in point there is Crick Heroes. Right? They've grown significantly over the last couple of years, and we've helped them not just through the amount that we've invested, but also through all the expertise that we've shared along the way. And again, that was an investment that was very synergistic with what we were doing, because we're doing fantasy sports.
Correct.
They're doing cricket. We're taking it to the grassroots level. Let's see how we can come together.
Yeah.
That's how we're thinking about our new investments as well, right? So we're not putting a number on, I will invest only this much and then give this much. A lot of programs or VCs or funds are very structured, that I'll give you X rupees and I'll give you Y time.
Who will decide in your case? Is it going to be you? Is it a couple of you?
It's going to be, yes. So the way it'll work is that the corporate development team that we have is working on coming up with showing us the different opportunities. And then when I say we, it's Thampi, I, and the corporate development team. If we really will meet the entrepreneurs, if we believe in the idea, then we will have to take it to our board, who will eventually have to then give the go-ahead.
Okay. Since you also brought up fantasy, we've talked about it, I should also say Dream 11 is also, for example, is investing in other startups. The question I want to ask you is, what's the gap now? Because they're the biggest. And you said fantasy is second.
Yes, for us
big
it
for
is.
you. What's the gap?
Large. So let me say this, right, and is that I think that what they've done is incredible, right? They've really brought fantasy to everyone's attention. Everyone is aware of what fantasy sports is, what happens there. It really engages players in a meaningful way to learn about the different sports. Cricket is one sport; it's the major one, but there is also football and kabaddi and basketball and so on and so forth. But I think they've done an amazing job. Our goal is our goal is slightly different. Our goal, Nayantara, is that okay, we'd like people to engage more in sports and play fantasy, right? But we'd also like to engage them through the other games that we have to offer. So in fantasy sports, you make a team, and then you have to watch the match to see what's happening, right? But then you have to leave the platform because you have to watch the game to see what's happening. And in the end, if your team wins that you've created, then you'll win. But in our case, our thesis is slightly different. That if we're trying to engage people, then once you're in the platform, are there other things of interest to them? Right? Some players will be interested in carom, which is on our platform, so they'll go and play carom after they build their team. Some people go and play rummy. And so in this slide, we're trying to figure out what are the games that we can offer that will continue to engage people. And so that's how we're thinking about it slightly differently. We, of course, are doing fantasy sports.
You want to have a fantasy team for carom?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, once you're done with fantasy sports, once you've built your team,
you stay on the platform.
Yeah,
you stay on the platform.
To play carom.
But I'll want to see how my team is doing.
But you can have the TV on while you're playing carom, right? You're not going to watch ball by ball, second by second. And even if you're doing that, then after every over there's an ad. At that point, if you're still on the platform, you can play a game. If you're only doing fantasy, then once you've built the team, then you have no real reason to be on the platform.
So you want to engage your users more during the match?
More meaningfully, yes. And because we're an entertainment platform, we believe that there are other entertaining ways, digital contents through which we can entertain our players, keep them engaged.
How do you get into gaming? Because you do have a first mover advantage.
So this is a slight background. So both Thampi and I, he's my co-founding partner, we were at NYU doing our PhD in economics. And in both of our cases, mine first and then his, we became very disillusioned with what economics and research was all about, right? And so I was in New York City, so was he, we were both there. You're very young, the mind wanders, you start doing other things. And one of the things that we took to was online games. We've always played, like I've been an avid gamer all through, but just with academia, with school, you've never had the time to do that, right? But we found ourselves in the right place in the right time where we were in actually the economics lab at York University playing games instead of doing our work. And that's how we met, and that's how it all started. That we had both Thampi and I, avid gamers, had this interest in gaming. And as we were playing games instead of doing economics, we said that, hey, can we do something like this in India? And for me personally, I always had this desire to want to live in India. I didn't grow up in India. And so I always wanted to live in India.
You still don't live in India?
Well, now I don't, but for 16 years I was in India.
Yeah.
Right? So I said, this is a great opportunity. So I dropped out of my PhD program. It was fully funded. The dean didn't appreciate it very much. But I left and, packed my bags, came to India and was there for 16 years. I continue to come back every month. I would have stayed if not for, for the family, for COVID. That sort of compelled us to move there. But it's been a fun ride. Got into gaming just because we were gamers and we enjoyed doing that. And
what about esports? Do you have esports ambitions?
So esports is a different animal, right? Esports is taking some of these massively multiplayer games and trying to offer tournaments and competitions in that. I think there is a great opportunity there. But the model is slightly different.
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah. And so we've been studying that. We've been contemplating with how we can get more involved. And so I will say that yes, there is interest, but we've not done anything meaningful there yet.
What about esports? Are you looking at esports?
So yes, we are looking at esports. The model, however, is very different from the things that we're doing. So we're just trying to figure out what the right way is for us to get involved. Because there too now you have some people who are doing some operators are doing. really well. It's going to the Olympics.
MPL is,
exactly.
doing that.
So we're just trying to figure out what's the best way to get involved, but that is something that we're looking at.
Oh, so you are looking at it. You said the gap between Dream 11 and Games 24/7 for fantasy is still very large.
Yeah.
I'm just going by fundraisers, the valuations. We've not heard of any markdowns. I don't know if there are any. Does it keep you paranoid at night? What if Harsh and Dream 11 want to acquire your fantasy gaming business?
No, not at all. No. Like I said, I mean, I of course can't comment for someone else, but as far as we're concerned, we want to build an entertainment platform, a platform that will engage our players. And so we will continue doing what we're doing, and at least the way I'm seeing how we're doing things is different from how anyone else out there is doing it. So we don't worry about that.
You're not worried about competition?
No, not at all. You got to back yourself up. In our view, again, our economics background, competition is very healthy. Right? If you're seeing world over right now, a lot of people are getting, getting into trouble because of some anti-competitive practices. But we think competition is very healthy. Keeps you grounded, keeps you true to the cause, and so we appreciate that. The one thing I will say, right, and this is unusual in most industries, but the gaming industry has come together rather well for the most part, and everyone is in very good terms.
Yeah, right now, common enemy, right, which is the 28% GST proposal, the income tax returns that have to be updated, the 68,000 crore rupees which was given in prize winnings.
There are, I mean, I'm not sure about the numbers, but yeah, there are issues that are plaguing the industry. But like I said, I am extremely pleased by the proactive stand the government is taking here to want to regulate this space. I think that says a lot about how the government, the country sees the future of gaming, and I think it's here to stay, and it's potentially very large.
Okay, with that, we're out of time, so we're going to wrap up this edition. I also realized pretty early on, by the way, that I don't think I can focus on the interview and play chess, so now I'm going to play chess. See you tomorrow.